And
I feel the same way as when Closer locked in Taliyah.
I actually like this Taliyah pick, though, because
but
you have really... it is Zeka, but you have the ability to set up pick. You can lane extremely well here against this Azir. We've seen that, especially with the nerfs to Azir's first few levels. Taliyah is a lot more comfortable than she used to be in this matchup. And this is a pick that screams, I'm going to have the ability to roam and get an early cash in for Draven. That's not something the other picks we discussed will be able to do for you as well. Like, Sylas could do it for you, but it's going to be a lot about the setup and how well Owner is playing and where your prio is and how the bottom lane is going. This Taliyah...
Off we go into game one. And this is massive. T1 want to get revenge. We know how Faker feels when he feels like things don't go his way. Generally, he is very angry, and he takes it personally. Oh, I didn't get Pog? Well, I'm going to play Lissandra, and I'm going to kill you multiple times. That was very early on this spring. I'm sure that he and the rest of them feel like, okay, we're here for revenge. This is the one team that took us out. Whereas life, it's just... desperately, we want to get as many wins as possible before playoffs to have as good of a seed as possible.
Yeah.
And they know it's a difficult opponent, but anything can happen on a given day if you're prepared enough.
Absolutely. And going back to the Zeka conversation, I think this is such a fun and valuable discussion to have because going into Worlds, you know, right before the Worlds qualifiers as well, where DRX was struggling last year, we were like, oh yeah, his Azir is just, it's very middling. And this is a problem. And he improved it massively during Worlds and during the Worlds qualifiers. And then that became a huge threat. Then Akali was extremely meta. Sylas was extremely meta, right? And these three picks that he's known for now were what ended up pushing him to the forefront, why he was LCK Player of the Year, etc. Because he was just so incredibly strong at these specific picks. A lot of people will still tell you that they think that DRX won because it was a strong patch for the team. A lot of analysts say that. That even though they weren't great in regular season, the patch was good for them as a heal will be forced.
Yeah.
And I think expanding your champion pool, it's not like he can't play the Taliyah. Is he one of our top Taliyah players? I would say no. He's 1-0 on the pick, as you can see, only playing it once this entire season, even though it's been very strong. I like trying to branch out here against an extremely tough opponent right before playoffs, because you're very unlikely to get to the second round here, so these wins aren't as important, but it's a high-pressure scrim here that means something, but it's also not the end of the world if you mess it up. And I want to see Zeka continue to expand, because we have seen him play through Corki Azir metas, for example, and also struggle there. And to be a mid laner that is extremely well-rounded, you will have to be willing to play these Taliyah picks. So...
That's true. It is the way the meta is nowadays. I was asking you the other day what happened to Kassadin.
Yeah.
Just gone. Zeka was one of our big Kassadin players. He's 4-1. Faker, this is his 99th game of Azir in the LCK. So he's getting close to that 100 mark. Could happen today.
Yeah, pretty good chance.
Where's the Lee Sin? Zeka is way too far up the lane. He looks to be just dead, as he will actually flash. Faker doesn't necessarily have to, as Flash comes out from Owner. He says, okay, I'll use my Flash as the jungler. I'll mostly be, you know, hanging around the jungle. So a nice first blood goes over to T1.
Yeah. Arguably the Flash used here by Zeka because he knows Clit is fairly nearby. I think a little bit hopeful there that he's going to get out. Maybe hoping he can trade Flash at least with the enemy mid laner, as you mentioned. But Faker isn't willing to expend it, so Zeka dies, also loses Flash here. And this is worst case scenario. Taliyah not getting ahead early, trying to be aggressive, like we were talking about fishing with some of those Qs to poke the Azir in those early levels is what you want to do in this matchup, trying to look for some shoves to force the Azir out of lane. And he and Faker will both, of course, teleport back, but that missing Flash here is really going to hurt. Somewhat less so because he has Unsealed. Well, this is your most critical summoner.
Yeah, very true. We all know what Azir does level 6, right? We've seen this enough. And now your control mage doesn't have Flash. So all they got to do is have Owner revisit the mid lane, and it should be a free kill, which is going to put so much pressure on Zeka to play safe or Clid to play around the mid lane. There's a couple of ways to deal with it. Maybe you just die again and accept your fate, or you try to, you know, build tanky and like try to get an early catalyst and Garrod or something. You know, there's not a lot of wiggle room. Otherwise, you're just kind of taking losses in the little trades and the kind of paths, the alternatives that I mentioned.
Yeah. It's really frustrating. At least bottom side is going extremely well. So you do have, right now, a pretty significant lead. You got the early Vamp Scepter, which is actually going to really help you deal with some of that sustain from the Sona in the lane. You'll be able to match some of that, have some consumables too here across your lane, and you have a Nami. So with barriers set up here, it's very easy to consistently pick up stacks and threaten autos like this.
All right, they're going in this time. Ignite used onto Viper. Heal blown once again. They're getting in close. Double tap onto Viper. He's on the run. Very fast as the Draven, but Zcaria is going to get a lot of value out of this on their way out. No flashes used in the trade, though.
Yeah, just trying to get some aggressive damage done here, but it's press the attack on this Lucian. So he actually could trade back so incredibly well once he activates that. As here's the level 6 timing you were talking about, and because of the bottom lane control that's lost here, Clid not having level 6, Zeka with no teleport just has to sit under turret. That's going to be what they opt into here to avoid the level 6 Faker gank. And I mean, it's an owner gank really, but it's for Faker, of course, with this timing. This means free dragon, so you lost the trade bottom, no flash in mid, and just like that, T1, 1,000 gold in the lead.
Yeah, the first blood going to help out there. Obviously, we've taken a lot of looks up at the top lane here. Kane's doing a great job of holding the wave right in front of his turret, which means that Zeus can't get any demolish procs. Sante's got some good wave clear. Clid comes in here alone. Yeah, I guess he's just dead as down he goes. Owner going to pick up that kill. Not able to hand it over to Faker on the sweep.
Not entirely sure why Clid is looking for a potential steal here, or a turnaround, with no setup for his ultimate. No level 6. And if Life and Viper have level 6, and he has level 6, and the timing of this Drake is a little bit later, I feel a lot better about this. As now, here comes Owner again.
Yeah, they want to force some flashes here as Owner is in. They get the flash out of Life. That's going to be very useful. Speaking of follow-up ganks, kind of a theme in this game. Could be another place to look.
Definitely. Owner is everywhere right now. And if you have Cyclone and Tidal Wave, maybe you get cash in there. Maybe you punish that Dragon take. You know, there's an angle for that. But unfortunately, at this point at level 5, with Faker having his level 6 available, you have no control of the bottom lane. You have no level 6s for your bottom laners, nor yourself. It's just not reasonable. And we'll take a look at the replay probably in just a second here to see how close he was to maybe getting a steal, because that's the only thing that justifies that. And even then, it's not a great justification, as no flash here on Life, and Owner has a control ward here on level 6 now.
Zeka hanging around.
Yeah, he can Weaver's Wall in.
Yeah. Well, flash comes in from Carrier. They get the slowdown onto Life. Is the damage there? Kick from Owner, but he misses the Q. Very unlike Owner, and that's going to save Viper's life. I mean, he did have flash and barrier, though, so maybe it's for the best.
Yeah, he. You see that chuckle on the player cam for Owner as well. He knows he messed it up. But that's okay. Still going to be getting advantages here on the bottom side of the map. And I mean, you're winning right now by such a large margin. As T1, the Draven lane hasn't gotten a cash in yet. The Lucian is still on track for that power spike here early. And HLE are going to be able to turn this into a Herald top side here, so it's not all for naught here. The commitment down in the bottom lane for Owner. It's going to pick something up. Let's take a look at what happens here. Walks over this control ward with a sweeper out. Is just hoping for a 50-50 steal. I mean, it's just that simple. Yeah. He just is hoping to get lucky. Unlucky.
Pretty much it.
The result.
I mean, he was close, but yeah, it was definitely a big risk. It's just one early Drake.
Skooma sets up the damage here. Kick, but the Q misses. Unfortunate for Owner. Yeah. Well, that's a kill.
I think with the execute damage, probably it's still a kill through barrier, but maybe not barrier flash. Not 100% sure, but we're not going to find out because Owner didn't hit his Q. So, again, like I said, maybe a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, could have been, for sure. Maybe it's a kill traded back, which could have been disastrous also. BF Sword is picked up here for Viper. So this is a big amount of damage he's going to have now in these exchanges, these trades. But even still, you know, you're looking at the Sheen early here for Guma.
Okay, that is a lot of damage already into the Sona as he hits level 6. The Whirling Death does hit the front part as culling here onto both of them. And we do have Wukong nearby. Klid just hanging around the bottom lane just in case.
Guma still holds on to his flash here, which is really important. And without barrier, it's hard for Viper to actually look for that aggressive exchange one more time. With no tidal wave to set up. And, you know, if Klid is here with the ultimate, maybe you actually secure that with how far up in the lane Keria and Guma were. But now they're alone.
They want to force this. HLE used by Life. Loving this back and forth trading in the bottom side. Very entertaining. Klid, he did get that essentially free Rift Herald. He's going to drop it here in mid and try to feed Zeka a little bit.
It's crazy how both of these junglers are having such a huge impact on this game. I mean, every time one of them shows, something happens elsewhere. Like, oh, okay, you're dropping Rift Herald mid, well, we're pushing bottom. In this case, it was in the reverse. Like, they show bottom, and then they drop the Rift Herald instantly there, pick up some plates here for Zeka. And, you know, we see the heal committed there. They do get away. HLE not punished here. They do get some gold. So, small advantages for both teams here. And it's really important this Taliyah gets some money back here after what was a rough early game. 2 plates picked up, split with Klid. And otherwise, it's been a fairly low-action game. Just one mistake there from Zeka, and then an overextension from Klid are the 2 kills that T1 hold. Was a plate goal picked up in mid, and how stable this top side has been. Really, not a massive lead, one way or the other.
Yeah, Life, you know, able to shore up a little bit with the Rift Heralds. We do have the individual Infernal Drake spawning right now. Both of these teams would love to pick that up. Just one of the best individual Drakes you can get. T1, it feels like they have the better positioning at the moment and the better warding, but it's somewhat even.
Always have to consider that Taliyah kind of changes the equation for that sometimes, but without having really any control of mid, she's putting herself at in harm's way to ult down, especially with Faker having this wave pushing through. Zeka's trying his best to clear this ward. And this is where things get really scary here. One initial pick can change everything. As Klid has Flash Cyclone back up.
How is Klid up level even though...
Spent a lot of time in mid, I guess.
I guess.
Because a lot of the time Owner was bottom side in that brush. He wasn't in experience range, is my theory.
Yeah. But we'll never truly know. Maybe the guys on the desk could offer some explanation, but we're not going to have that. I'm very curious about this setup here on this Infernal Drake. What is going to happen on this? Right now it is a tri-lane in the bottom lane.
Klid here can engage them so far away. They have to respect it.
Well,
it's a 3v3, as you say.
It's the bottom prio push, right?
And Zeka's just so far out of the equation. Like, he can't get down here at all. So Faker comes over, and this should be the window that T1 needs to take a 2-Drake lead. No entry point here now as Faker's got this choke point control. He's doing damage over the wall with his ward.
A flash and double flash out of Life Esports' bottom lane. As an immense amount of respect shown to Keria's Sona. And now that's double flash. Klid was chunked.
Faker's here. No flashes.
There's no flash, so you could potentially get it going.
I mean, you either have to commit here as Hanwha or don't.
All right, the knockback, but yeah, Viper's just dead. They didn't have any vision, and they said, oh, they're probably doing Drake. And, well, Faker's like, I'm just going to pick up this free kill.
You either have to just back away, give Drake, and farm under turret, or you have to hard commit and flash Cyclone with Zeka coming in on the Weaver's Wall. At least they're going to get some plate gold here for this Taliyah. A third plate will be Zeka's this time, picking up all of it, plus 175. But, you know, T1 get everything they're looking for here, plus those flashes and the kill and plate gold bottom side for Gumayusi. I mean, you cannot give them an inch or they will take a mile. And if you're thinking about engaging, it's already too late. You have to have a plan. You have to be ready to go in. And when that crescendo gets 2 flashes, Faker is like, we kill them if they are slow. And they were slow. Where's Taliyah? She's moved back mid. There's no Wukong here. There's no re-engage. Tidal wave used way after the fact. And you cannot give T1 just even half a second or it's done. No flashes there on the bottom side. Yeah, and now this game is so heavily in favor of T1.
They knew that Faker was there, right? He just underestimated the range that he had to engage with, and he's like, "Yeah, I should be fine. I can just knock him back if he shuffles in." And you know he did, but it was too late. So, yeah, a little bit of greed just stepping up in the lane there, and he will get punished for it. And T1, you know, these two individual Drakes going to be very nice for themselves. It is Cloud Soul, though. I think it's going to be very nice, actually, in this game, considering, you know, what you've got. Actually, on both sides, I feel like it could really benefit either side, even the individual Cloud Drakes.
Yeah, definitely pretty huge. I think for the Renekton and Cassante, plus the Wukong in particular, it's going to be great. Talia loves this, too.
Oh, little engage on a Faker as he is quite close to the turret. Clid is here, but Area making his way up and a teleport used.
Faker, man.
Life Esports cannot engage.
He is just so good at making it seem like you can kill him and then just getting map control from it.
Yeah.
It's absurd how much he's done this.
It's actually a thing.
It's
we were
crazy.
kind of
He's
memeing
bait.
it in the beginning, but it's like his new tech. I don't know how to describe it, but Faker's like, yeah, I'm just getting really good at baiting the enemy team. It's really a thing.
This Weaver's Wall here not going to get really any value. They won't be able to push this turret down. Kingen now alone.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. He does have the flash, and he will use it, but just gets flash stunned. And that's be the end of him, as Faker will pick up that kill. 2-0 and 2 now on Luden's Azir.
Yeah. It's rough. Ooh, barely escapes that.
That's a fast guy, but Viper doesn't have flash anymore. The damage not quite there, though, as they back away, and the zoning from the Cyclone is too much for T1 to handle, but now there is a very big Croc who is looking to collapse from the top side, and that will be a kill over to Gumayusi.
Zeka should be able to get out here. Can he find Carrier is the question.
Yeah.
Yes, he can.
Will he die, though?
Oh,
yes, he will.
The snipe. And you know what? This is a huge turnaround here for HLE. Not enough to put them in the driver's seat, but that's some money on it, Talia. You got your first cash in as Viper here on the Draven. So money given over. T1 look a little bit frustrated with how that last exchange went because it was a little bit sloppy. And if that crescendo hits Viper, none of this happens the way that it looked like it was actually going to turn. As yeah, Kingen is just left alone here after they collapse topside. Collapse topside, don't get Faker's flash initially, by the way. And then this dodge from Viper is MVP, because without that, he gets caught, he dies. The tidal wave follow-up is great. Owner is just trying so desperate to get in there and finish him off with the kick combo. So he gets the shutdown. Clid dies for this, but then Zeka unseen here, and Carrier backs on a ward. Zeka comes over here, waits until Zayas shows in mid, and then flips him in for the kill.
Nearly messes up the angle, but gets it done in the end. And we did get at least the one kill for Viper. Not sure how much the cash-in was.
Yeah, not too high,
Yeah.
you have to imagine. Yeah, he's still 400 gold behind.
That's pretty telling.
He died early, so didn't have that many stacks.
Yeah, died to Faker down on the bottom side, so. Yeah, we do have the next Drake up here in a minute. Looks like T1 really want to set their eyes on that one. The Drakes, even individual ones, very strong nowadays.
Yeah, 44 seconds until soul point here for T1. They've got total mid control. They're going to drop this Herald down. If they can get a Sundisk turret this early, it would be massive. They need a minion wave, though, to actually get the whole thing. And they won't be able to do so just now. Trying for
They're
it.
really trying to get in there. And they are so close.
Still, I mean, they have mid prio. They could just push this wave in. They've got insane wave clear.
You can just hang out here. Zeka is looking for maybe a wall angle? Are they trying to collapse here in mid? Maybe not. Just waiting around as Kingen finds an angle.
Weaver wall potential.
Yeah, trying to make a play as the... Okay, I mean, they're really trying to force this one and zone T1 away.
Yeah, but a lot of really crucial tools utilized here. And without the tidal wave, you can't hold this choke anymore. Your Weaver's wall just isn't going to last. Another shove misses, and
they do have some good vision control at least. So some of the pick potential with the Talia is decent, but now they're getting pushed into the river by the side of T1.
Zeka looking for the flank.
Let's see it. Looking for the wall.
It would be so much more deadly if they had a tidal wave. They do not.
All right, there's the wall. Comes in, trying to burst down the Drake, as is Owner going to go for it? Yes, he will. He's not going to get it, though, as this Lee Sin pretty tanky, but is he tanky enough? As in goes the Renekton. They get the Draven on the front line, and down goes Viper, and that is going to be a massive amount of damage away here from HLE Esports. Clint goes down, and yes, they got the Cloud Drake, but they lost so much more.
And when you use the Weaver's Wall like that and the Tidal Wave, there's just no deterrence, as Poor Life will be the last to fall. It's an ace here, sub 20. Well,
eventually,
maybe not.
Needs it in 12 seconds for the ace. Can he get it?
Bubble.
He's on vision. Yeah, he's and it is an official ace.
Yeah.
Just a little bit slow.
An ace at 20 minutes for T1. This is the game-winning moment. Very likely. Now, HLE do get the Drake. Well, there is no coming back in this composition anymore with the Draven. Viper's once again deleted. No money. He's sitting on a Noon Quiver in his BT. And if you watch how this fight goes, it's really just about Zeka using Weaver Wall here a little bit early to make sure they can't come in and contest the Smite. They still contest the Smite. Then so much used to keep Owner down that look who's left open. Oopsie daisy. It's Keria who catches the enemy AD carry.
Yeah.
Your front line is completely tunneled on a Lee Sin. And HLE lose everything. This game is now no longer one you could recover from easily. Against a team like T1, I'd say your chances are less than 5%.
Yeah, it's really rough. I mean, you're not getting any notable cash-ins for your Draven. That's part of the reason why you picked this up with the Nami, also to deny it from the side of T1. And then, you know, your Taliyah got so far behind so early on. I mean, take a look at the mid diff right now. It's pretty massive, and you can see the jump in gold as a team diff is also quite large. And the Baron is alive, so you know where T1's eyes are going to be set on. It's kind of a formula for them.
It is. They have the damage to back it up very often at the spawn timer of said Baron, but they're not going to go for it this time. Not against a Wukong who does have flash available. They have some vision control, but not the full setup. Going to look for a little bit more prio across the lanes before they start to do this. Maybe some cleared vision behind the pit. But at this point, T1 doesn't need to do anything risky.
Yeah, just playing with Clid here. His Owner, you can see that Clid is desperate to just try to get some kind of vision around the pit.
And if this was a Leandri's build for the Taliyah, you'd feel better about this game state. You wouldn't feel better about the Taliyah pick because it's not great in terms of what it does for your Draven. Like, you want to get that burst damage so your Draven gets cash-ins and actually has a strong mid-game. But now you have a Ludens that can't burst anyone because you're super far behind. Your Draven is not ahead. And you don't have that Leandri's damage that would have at least maybe helped you win longer fights. Your Draven certainly isn't going to be the one to do it at this stage anymore. Now, if we go to 15 minutes from now, maybe the Draven can help carry those fights for you, but I don't think T1 is going to give you that kind of time to farm it out.
Yeah, they're very good at ending games swiftly and before things get messy. They're not really forcing any Barons, though. They are giving a decent amount of respect here to HLE Esports on this objective so far. Saw that Zeus kind of just backed off of the wave in the bottom side, and they didn't have full vision of where everybody on the side of HLE Esports was. So, you know, just trying to avoid a dive in the bottom side and taking it quite slow for T1 standards.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Big ult. Yeah. Just trying to spot out whether T1 are rushing this down. They are not on it yet. But HLE is a painful game state because it would have only really been worse if they had also lost that smite to Owner, which was very close. Now you can't get map control, you can't actually start Baron yourself, you can't side lane. And you're just kind of waiting to lose objective fights. But you are going to take them, and you are going to hope that there's a mistake. You are going to hope you can catch somebody off guard, because that's your one way back into this game. Your only chance is T1 overextending on this Drake fight. But look at the setup they have here in mid, plus Sundis turret, plus Owner has his control ward.
Yeah. They group up as a team, mid-prio, they say, okay, middle of the map is ours, objectives are ours.
They've just basically, you could just cut off all of the blue side of the map. It doesn't exist anymore. They've halved the map.
Calling us in, you know, trying to throw in some poke, or they do, you know, split off for a Drake.
They draw a line of wards, so HLE can't trade for Baron, can't do anything sneaky. Notice there is not one teleport ward for HLE. That's also been cleared away. They haven't been able to walk past the equator of the map here for a long time since that last Drake fight.
Oh, they're going to try to force Baron.
They're going to TP here to Baron. There is a control ward here, and the speed at which T1 does this, they should be able to rotate back over. Faker has TP, Zeus has TP.
Yeah,
when they see the ward, they're like, can we even do this?
Doing it by himself. I mean, Viper's clearing a lane in topside, like a wave in topside. They know this is happening. Like, absolutely. T1 just make their way over. Now, Carrier's kind of going off on a little tangent here on the left side.
Just wants to make sure he could stop anyone from flanking here. Baron at half health. This is when the fireworks hit.
Not really going to be too successful in that, actually. HLE's keeping this leash at the moment. Take a look at Klid's angle.
He's got flash.
They should know this is coming in the wall as well. Zeus is way in the back line, like so far back there. Faker goes down. They take out Viper, though, as a very messy fight. You see that Guma is able to get away somehow, as so many low health bars are here, and Zeus and Owner are just on the chase, as Guma will eventually be taken out, but so should Kingin, as now a 3-on-3 Zeka. The only one that really does damage out of these 6.
Yeah, and if he had Leandri's, you know, you'd feel so much better about this type of scenario. But he couldn't build it in this game, and now he's just proccing lootings as he can, but won't be able to chase anybody down, won't be able to close this fight. As Klid wants to set up for this, but everybody's grouped, and they can just instantly turn on him. And he goes in, by the way, right as they collapse onto Viper. So this is the best timing you are ever gonna get as HLE, and it's still not good enough as Guma outplays King in here and will survive for a very long time on the husk of this Azir turret. Does eventually get taken out by Zeka, but he played it so beautifully. The team kills the AD carry instantly, and Zeka can't do anything on his own. Now HLE, they are red side here. They're grouped up to try to set up for some big vision. And maybe we're going to go for one more song and dance here because the team fight wasn't clean enough for T1 to actually take Baron and end the game. But this fight's going to be even harder. They will not have the Wukong flank. They will not have flash for Klid.
Yeah, the setup there from Halma was, as you're saying, it was the best they were going to get. Now T1 are going to get another turret here. They essentially just push down mid. They see Zeka's top. Zeka also has Smite right now, so it's not teleport. You know, it's not anything you can use to get in here right now. So yeah, it's going to clear that up. And to be honest, I thought T1 would have started this earlier, but just taking every precaution against Hama Life Esports. There are a lot of ways for Hama to get into the pit.
Just keep drawing lines across the map, making no man's lands. And it's taking them a while to actually start this Baron up because they're looking for a pick now instead. No vision here. And HLE think better than walking into that brush. They're at least buying some time here for Zeka to farm. Small victories. Because he wants that death cap so badly. Once he gets that, the damage will be real.
They don't know this is happening, but they do have a suspicion, of course. As the pings are in. They did place a control ward now, so they know this is happening. As of now. And a bunch of soldiers over the wall just trying to not let them in. And they will pull off of this as Hama Life Esports get in position. And we go again.
We go again.
Run it back.
Every single time Zeka's given time in a side to get closer to this death cap, the chances of HLE winning this game go up slightly, right? Because we're buying time. I mentioned we go to the 15 minutes plus into this game.
Run it back.
Yeah, run it back. You get to the point where you get Draven up to 4 items. As Talia starts scaling, you can win 5v5 fights. As Klid's rushing over now. And we'll see this. Oh, he's caught by the Sonic Wave.
And this time he's basically alone. TP is coming in. Viper is over the wall.
And T1
clear out vision, and they do back away from this one.
T1 are like, I'm not giving a cash in over. I'm not going to lose a team fight right now. I'm not going to force this game, or I'm not going to throw this game off of a Baron we don't absolutely need right now. I'd rather fight around this next objective, the Drake that spawns in 1 minute, which will give us Cloud Soul. Zeus has a big spike now with his GA. But again, the way that Hama Life Esports has calmly handled this, grouped up fast enough, yeah, they had to use teleports, etc., but they keep getting in there and stopping T1. Stopping T1 is the first step of like 7 they will need. But it means they've got time. QSS is done for Viper now. It makes it a lot easier for him to team fight. And the death cap, Looks like it's so close to being done. You can see Zeka is like killing a Gromp right now.
He bought it, and then he sold it, and then he bought it again.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I don't know, should I buy this? He doesn't have Cleanse, so it's kind of awkward against like a Flash Renekton Sun or obviously a Flash Crescendo.
Looking to see, I mean, Zeka so desperately needs that death cap. He's got to be so close. He's backing now. He's backing now.
Yeah. Stopwatch too.
Yeah.
And how life? I mean, we're getting it to the point of the game now where they might be able to force this.
Oh, yeah.
T1 go all in on the Drake.
So much damage here in this comp. Death cap is done.
Oh, fight, and that goes to Viper.
That's pretty huge. As Guma is going to take Cloud Soul right now, so there's a clock ticking against HLE. They really need to force this. With Weaver's Wall here, they have 2 smites.
They're missing critical information, Wolf.
Talia's going to see this too late.
Okay, well, we're going to stop them from pulling off as a TP from Faker down there?
Okay, now you really have to pull the trigger. You're not going to win that race. You're not going to win that Drake fight.
Well, now they absolutely will. Crescendo just thrown in as the rest of them, it feels like they're going to be in here too late, but they can't stop Owner from getting into the pit. At least that's what it looks like right now as he's got a Q onto the Baron. Will he be able to steal this? No, he will not as the Baron goes to Hololive Esports. Zeus in there alone as a massive double knockup into the Cyclone Clid, and Kingen put 2 and 2 together, and they make it happen, and T1 are wiped entirely on the Baron.
Oh, HLE, a full wipe. A triple kill for Clid, and now they can just push mid. There are bounties on these structures right now. HLE are about to pick up so much money here, and a narrow win on the fight. So patient. No team has ever done this to T1. You do not pull this team from objective to objective, get teleport, stop Owner from coming in, and wipe this team. Nobody does this to T1, but HLE, they were so patient, and they pulled it off. This is huge. A full wipe and so much money here. And now they can push mid, pick up so much of that gold here, and their composition is starting to scale. The Talia has 3 items, has a death cap. Scimitar done for Viper, and Kingen winning that team fight so single-handedly. Has level 16 now, and man, this is anyone's game to take now, but I'm starting to lean towards HLE. Now consider that Cloud Soul is permanent. Unlike this Baron, it is still going to be very useful for T1, especially when we get the setups on that potential Elder here. But for the first time in a long time, HLE can breathe. They have map control.
Like you mentioned, it's really all about patience, right? Like waiting so many times to have your moments, and they finally did. I think T1 just over-indexed over to the Cloud Drake, and especially the second they saw the TP, they're like, well, it's 5v3, we could just take it. And it did take Clid getting a very nice smite in what was a flip, essentially. Definitely we could have seen Owner get in there and just steal it away and the rest of the team back away, but because they were already forced into that fight, they had to go in, and then they just got bopped on the head by Kingen. I mean, a 3-man knockup, it's not much you can do about that. It's now Zeus in a bit of trouble, can't really flash as, oh, they're going in onto Zeka. The kick comes in from Owner. Zeka does survive for an incredibly long amount of time, and the damage from Viper is massive as the culling now from Guma. Faker goes in. They're going to get the Draven as Viper stands up and nearly is able to just stand up to 4 members. And that's going to be enough to stop T1 in their tracks.
Now, no ability here to grab a huge objective, so they get multiple kills here. It's 2 for 2. Across the board. HLE can't push any further. Their carries are down. Well, this is a really important team fight here for T1 because they stopped the Baron, and they should be able to wrestle back some map control before the Elder fight. It's initially Zeka who is caught here. The angle of the tidal wave from life from so far away is beautiful. Stopwatch has to be burned. And remember, there's no res here anymore on this Wukong. The last one was lost by Zeus previously, so Clid gets out, but he loses that critical tool, which is so important for this Wukong in these upcoming fights, especially on objectives like Elder, because you force things so much more comfortably when you have that.
Yeah.
Faker getting closer to his death cap, though, picking up some extra gold in this last exchange. And this game is crazy wild.
Yeah, you mentioned the tidal wave, but also the Cyclone out of Clid was huge for disengaging their, like, those layered ultimates are essentially what keep T1 out of, you know, just hounding them all down. And it keeps them alive. It gives Viper a chance, even when Faker goes crazy in that backline. And now we might just have a little bit of Elder versus Baron action because they're both going to spawn at basically the same time. This is going to get interesting.
This is really going to get interesting. Remember last time HLE were able to pull T1 around. T1 got greedy trying to do everything. But I cannot stress enough. Like this is the first time I can remember T1 has made a mistake like that this year and have been caught off guard by a team, actually kind of juggling the aggro, juggling the attention, vision control, and looking for a turn there. The Weaver's Wall really throwing them for a loop as well. They got the soul, but lost the subsequent team fight trying to get both. It's just not a mistake that T1 ever makes. We consider this team to be the best team in the world at decision-making on these critical objectives.
Viper, yes. Is IE,
Yeah.
I think
That's
he's
what
got it.
He should be able to have it. Yeah, he does.
He uses Whirling Death on the wave just to make sure he has the item. And timing is important.
Speaking of timing, 90 seconds, 80 seconds here on these two objectives. We may just see this extended setup fight here starting like literally now because this objective is going to be the game deciding one. Grabbing Scuttle here, really important for T1, trying to get some bottom prio. Guma's pushing mid. The top lane, way less important because the bottom lane is going to be good for both the Elder and the Baron. But with that inner's still up for both teams, there's no side lane pressure on an inhibitor here. When the Baron spawns, I think this fight is going to be all about the Elder Drake because it's the more important objective of the two. And even though there is some vision here for T1 on the Baron, their focal point is definitely going to be bottom side of the map.
Definitely should be, especially with it spawning first. How about like esports though? Feel like they're on a better position right now as Clid really getting a little bit sneaky in the enemy jungle too. Really trying to clear out vision, maybe drop some wards. He doesn't have any more control wards though as, Owner taking a couple axes to the face.
That Draven damage is so huge at this point. This is what I was talking about. If you do get to 4 items, the Draven is ready to pop off.
Faker now.
So much control.
He has the death cap as, yep, that's 1 axe, guys.
Yeah.
1.
Faker has no flash.
They do have some sustain from the Sona. T1, you know, they don't really have vision on this objective. Like, Hamalei Esports have just pushed them away.
Clid is on an unknown flank angle. They're searching for him.
He's in the pit now. As meanwhile, coming around the back here is Zeus. He's got a good angle.
And Zeka wrapping around. A Weaver's Wall could cut T1 in half and win this game for HLE.
Could just be as the flash comes in. Kingan's going to find the front line. They're trying to burst down Faker as he doesn't have... Oh, he does right here at the end. And Clid should be the first one to go down. They just barely take him out as the GA here available for the side of Owner. Zeka's just flashing into 5 people trying to get the damage. Another 2-man knockup. Unbelievable as the divide comes in from Faker, but it's too little too late.
Viper's just doing too much damage. He's at full health. This should be the Elder for HLE. And man, what a fight between these two teams. T1, there's just no way they can win this anymore. They're going to actually back off and reset. The Drake it just has so much health. They actually aren't confident even with this Draven that they can rush it down. Crazy here. TP advantage. Faker barely gets his flash available. And look at this play here. Once again, Kingan to start things off. And then look at Clid. They have Tidal Wave, and then he's in here with the double Cyclone. He sacrifices himself here to make sure that there's enough space for Viper to actually get that work done. Once again, Viper not
taking any doing this, and we got TP in the bottom lane. They can't force this.
No, I don't think so, but now they're trapped here. Guma, how do you get out of here alive?
He should be okay, but I'm wondering about this Elder Drake.
I mean, they're holding the aggro. Yeah.
And okay, we got Clid coming in. They got to wait for their jungler. Over the wall, everybody's just watching from the bleachers, RT1. And okay, let's see how it goes. The Q is in, we got a wall down. As will they be able to deny Owner? Yes, they will. They take him out, just Kingan, as this guy is just insane today. He's a man on a mission, and that will be the Elder.
Now I just want to back away here and defend. And Baron is up. T1 are going to try to trade these objectives because they quote-unquote won the team fight as the wall went down and HLE decided to focus the Elder while pushing the enemy jungler out. But Owner, of course, is alive and has his smite at the ready. Clid does have smite, no flash. He's over for this with the Draven.
Oh, can he do it again? Can he do it again? He
does!
What? He's in and he gets it again!
Oh my god, Valdez, they get Exodia here! And how do you lose now? Clid surviving as well, gets out. And HLE, they should be able to group and push down the mid lane. Unbelievable turn on this game. I thought we were maybe going to be in for a banger today, but I had no idea clearly what was going to happen. And
yeah,
the amount of team fight performances we're seeing from Kingan that are objective winning is just too high. Like, he is hitting these Qs perfectly. He's pulling Owner out of the pit. He's going at the exact right time. He's so tanky. He built Anathema's chains, so he's taking so little damage here with this tank build. When his Jack Shows gets online, he's basically going to live through everything, all out or no. The all out is just so useful at setting up, pulling one of these carries into harm's way.
Got to be careful about the poke damage, but with this wall coming down, King in a little bit of trouble. Guma takes 2 axes and nearly dies. And they should be okay now with Exodia to continue pushing here. The damage is too much. I mean, even just one hit onto Faker could be it, and the Whirling Death is nearly that. Really on the axe's edge right now.
So hard to mess it up from here. One heroic play, T1 need to find one. Faker has Emperors.
This might be where you just got to throw it down. 30 seconds on Elder Buff. I don't think they've got enough time to wait through T1. Hollow Life should just be able to slowly chip away.
Zeus looking for the flank here. When that Emperor's Divide comes down, you've got one chance, T1.
One chance and
15 seconds.
A dream, essentially. 12 seconds, the damage goes in. Owner gets the kick, but he's alone. Nobody can get in as Faker can't get over to the left. This game is over as Guma also will be chunked out. They want their KDA, and they deserve their KDA. They will have it now. HLE Esports will take game 1 in 40 minutes.
Unbelievable game, and one win away now from doing it again. HLE